Good evening, guys. Good evening, Luke. Good evening, Gluck. How are you both doing? See in the comments. Yep, I'm doing pretty well here in New Zealand. The rain has stopped at last. We've had like a week of just constant rain, so it's nice to have a bit of sun back. How's everything in the UK? And look, I think you're from the US, aren't you? How's everything doing over there? And shame about work keep interrupting. I know it's a bind. Fancy having to have a job. Oh no, mine seems to get in the way as well. But I hope you've both had good weeks, and anyone else who is in there. Seems like we got eight people watching, so welcome to you all. Yeah, unless you got any specific questions about how things went, ideas, suggestions, then we'll kind of just jump in. Good to see you've had a good week. Hot day, busy, but vacation. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, so just a bit of an update, I guess, regarding the voting. So we've got the what's it called? Not Patreon. What's it called? I think we're using Discord. That's the one. So we got the Discord, and just for anyone who hasn't been on there yet, we'll keep using that. I'll keep posting the information on there, and as the campaign goes along, I'll probably get better at that. So you'll get more information on there. I'll probably, if you let me know on there specifically which side you're with, whether you're with Rome or whether you're against Rome, and then I can sort of give you a personal invite into those rooms or channels or whatever they're called, those pages. And that way you'll get the specific information and intelligence reports for those two sides and the voting as well. Then what I think I'll do from this week onwards, we'll have the polls will be available on the YouTube, possibly Facebook. I'm not sure about that, but like we used to do on on YouTube, so that everyone can just vote as they wish. But then whoever takes part as a commander within the Discord, that vote will count for 20% of the total. So it'll be a little bit of maths on my behalf, but that way you guys as commanders will have a larger chance of swaying things in your direction, but then it also still allows that friction, that fog of war to potentially distort the plans. So that's kind of my thoughts. If you think they're terrible, let me know. If you think they're a good idea, let me know. Yeah, it's just one of those things. I think it was you, Blood Gang, in the Discord who was talking about the way you did it with your club versus the way that we've kind of done it worldwide on here. And I've been trying to think the best way around it. And I think this is probably the best of both worlds. That way it allows the wider net to catch people on YouTube who don't really want to get involved on a Discord server, which I understand, but also allows for those that do want to really dig into it, gives them a bit more interest. So thinking that's the way for us to go. So we're on to turn 2. And what happened in turn 1? Let's do a quick recap. So the Romans had 3 of their legions arrive. 2 landed down in Roman Landing B, and 1 of them in Roman Landing A. The Catabalani launched an invasion of the Trinobanti territory, focusing in on Londinium, so the Romans beelined to get there. We did have a battle where the Catabalani, on balance, up to the point that they withdrew, were winning. They seemed to inflict the most casualties, so they were doing well. But as soon as the Romans, as per their commander's instructions, arrived, they withdrew back across the border. And then the other tribes, who are these 2 are the current hostile tribes in the west. So yeah, in the west, they sort of marched down and they sent a raiding force down into Artabates territory. The Artabates sent some cavalry to try and intercept them and were roundly defeated. And so that was kind of the 2 combats of the turn and the dispositions. Other movement, there wasn't much. The Cantiarci sent some of their troops just north just to protect their northern border in case the Catabalani came down. And the Artabates equally sent some troops over just to protect that side of their territory. And that was more or less it for last turn. Overall, I would say the turn went to the sort of the anti-Roman forces. I think they ended up with, I think it was 10, I can't remember off the top of my head, it was 10 or 11 sort of game points versus I think it was 9 for the pro-Romans. Most of those points got spent in trying to, diplomacy basically, trying to turn tribes into their alliances. Don't start invading our land. Yeah. So there wasn't really much of a change. The Trinovantes, a point was spent from both sides, so they're still exactly the same as they were. The Cantiasi, again, they're exactly the same as they were. Both sides tried to influence them. The Durotriges, again, 1 point from each, so no change. They don't particularly like the Romans, but they're not ready to take up arms. The Duboni, or Dubuni, they're exactly the same. They're more pro-Roman, but not yet ready to join them. The Dumoni, where are they? Dumoni down here, they're exactly the same. The Iceni, unchanged. And I can't see where the others are. Cornovi, they're exactly the same. However, with the additional couple of points that the Britain players had, they have, where are they? Influenced the I'm terrible at pronouncing these things, Coriel Talvi. So they have come slightly more in line with them. They are not ready yet to take up arms, but they've influenced them. Same with the Parisi, and same with the Brigantes. So they had a bit more of a benefit up in the north, but in the south, it's still the status quo. So that gives you an idea of where everything is. The Romans, or the Roman forces, alliance, what have you, they didn't spend all of their points. They saved three of their points. So next turn, / at the end of this turn, they'll have an additional 3 points to spend either on diplomacy, building roads, forts, whatever we want to do with that. So that was the overall situation there. So the first thing we're going to do is, as I said, last turn, only 3 of the Romans arrived. We've still got 1 group whose fleet is somewhere in the channel. So we're going to roll to see if they do turn up this time. So on a 1 or 2, they land A. On a 3 or a 4, they land a B. And on 5 or a 6, they still don't land 4. Cool, so they turn up and they land on B. Cool. So we've got all of the Romans now on the mainland. Let's make a note of that. They're B. Next up, we're going to roll for the month. So the last turn covered from February to June. So this turn is going to just cover July. Okay, so it is July to July. So this is going to be a short period of time, which is quite interesting. Weather. Let's find out what our weather forecast is. Being mid-July, it's going to be March to April. So firstly, we've got a 2, and then for our 10s, 42. So 42 is heavy rain. Oh, so we're having summer storms, heavy rain. Cool. That's not going to be good, but interesting update. Now we've got our historical events. There's nothing particularly new. It's going to be the same sort of things as last term. So storms delay the Roman landings, which we've just covered. That's why they've only just arrived. Tribal resistance slows the march. So if the Romans keep marching, they're probably going to get slowed down. The Battle of Medway. If there's a battle fought this turn, and the Romans win, there'll be a couple of effects for them, and possibly supply disruptions. Actually, no, that started in the autumn, so that will be next turn, so we don't need to worry about that. So nothing too much to worry about, just tribal resistance for the Romans. Next up, we got our random events. So for the Romans, we've got a 3. So that is forced march. Urgent orders from the general push the legions forwards. One selected unit may move twice its normal distance this turn, but suffer -8 cohesion due to fatigue. So, okay, interesting. Forced march. So if you wish for them to double march, they can basically do the regular march plus a double plus a double. So, but they will take a hit, each of their units suffering that 8 cohesion loss. So consider that carefully as we go. As for the Britons, they've rolled a 9. So 9 is, and that was a 3, sorry, 9. Captured Roman orders. A Briton scout intercepts Roman messages. 1 Roman force is delayed. Okay, so one of the Romans won't be able to move, allowing a free maneuver for a nearby Briton unit. Okay, so what we'll do is, do I have a D8? No. 2, 4, 6. I do have a D8 somewhere. I'll just use my phone here. It's got a dice roller on it. And then we'll find out which one it's going to be that gets held up. Just bear with me. Cool. So we'll go moving from left to right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it's a 2. So this unit here, who I'm pretty sure is Vespasian, his troops, obviously their orders got confused and they thought they had to stay and help defend / rebuild Londinium. Or perhaps they've just got wind that there's some treachery afoot. The Catavilani are trying to manipulate the Trinovantes, so they've been told just to stay there to make sure that there's no uprising. Who knows? But that's our situation there. So let me just write that down. Vespasian, no move. Cool. So that's the Romans. That's the Britain's random events. Cool. Now we move on to initiative. Both our commanders are a +6. So it's just going to be dice roll for the Romans, 5, and for the Britons, 1. Okay, so the Romans get the initiative this turn. So initiative goes to Romans. Cool. So that could be useful for them. So now we've actually just got movement itself. That's diplomacy, movement. There we go. Okay, so as for the options chosen this turn, so for the Romans, they chose option number 1, which was to pursue the Catavilani into this territory. And for the Britons, just to give you their option, they chose option number 2, which was for Caraticus, who is the Catavilani chieftain, to withdraw and draw in the Romans, whilst the Eastern forces march down against the Artrabates. Okay. Does anyone have any questions or any suggestions at this stage of what you guys would like to happen or would like me to do? Obviously, the Romans have the initiative there, so they will be able to move first. So, Luke, I think that's kind of more in your area. I can't remember which side you were on for the game, whether you were for the Romans or for the Britons, but yeah, have a quick think about that and let me know how you are going to want to proceed. And I'm trying to quickly check something on the initiative. Cool, that's just initiative. Players may declare how many points they'll be. Cool, that's fine. Draw, no, it wasn't. So cool, yeah, that's all good. And equally, can you guys still hear me? Just put that out there. Okay, because usually I've got a little bar thing for the microphone, which kind of goes up and down when I'm talking, and it seems to not be doing anything at the moment. I'm Britain. Sure, I'm facing the mighty blue game. Okay, cool. And so from your response, that lets me know that I'm pretty sure you can hear me, so that's good. Cool. So for the Romans, as I said, they've got the initiative. So Vespasian, he won't be moving. So we've got these 2 legions who will. They're going to be heading north after the Catavilani. We are going to be going D10, and so one of them is going to go 8 centimeters. Let's just go left to right. So they'll be able to go basically as far as that. So they've got good movement, so they will definitely be able to catch up with them. The second legion, 7. So again, they've got plenty of space to be able to maneuver. So I guess the question is, do you want them to march together, or do you want them to take separate routes? But they are going to be heading after the Catavilani. And we've also got, yeah, we've got that group there, that legion. They can move their full 10. So again, do you want them to move the full distance after? Do you want them to just move as far as Londinium? Oh yeah, good point there, Luke. That's heavy rain is going to slow them down. And what is that? That's a very good point. It's going to affect it. Heavy rain. Halved on the strategic map. Cool. So that means that 8 drops down to 4. So they will basically get to where that E is of Catavilani. And the others who go 7 are going to get just to the other side of the border. And their 5 will purely get them basically to where this tribal camp is. So I would say they're basically going to just be marching that way anyway. So that's where they get to. And then those guys, I guess they're just going to march counter order me if you wish, but basically just marching up to catch up with the Catavalani at that point. Okay, so again, anyone has any ideas or anything they want to chuck in, go for it. But I think that makes the most sense there. For the Roman allies, do you wish for any of the Archabates forces to leave their towns and go after this raiding force? Gary, go to Londinium, link up there. Okay, cool. So yeah, that'll be their goal. They'll try and get there. Yeah, good point. Yeah, just see if anyone else wants the Archabates to try and force them back or leave them as they are. I would say on balance they probably would, based off either honor, they've just had their own men cut down, so they're going to need to try and kick them out, or B, just through pragmatism, that you can't have enemy forces raiding your territory without having a response. But out of the three forces, this is their largest field army. Are we going to try and send them back across, or are they going to stay up here to defend against any incursions from the north and then send troops from one of these towns after them? I would say probably sending troops from the south would be the optimum choice there. That way you've still got your capital protected, but equally that's the shorter distance. Okay. So I'll give you guys just a couple of moments to think about that, or else I will just roll the dice, and on a 1, 2, or 3, it'll be southern, and a 4, 5, or 6, it'll be northern. I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6, it'll be the whole lot. I think that will be it. Okay. All right, I'm going to roll for it. So yeah, as I said, 1, 2, it's going to be this group that move north. 3, 4, that group, and 5, 6 is everyone, apart from that group who will stay over there. Cool, 1. So it's the southern group who are going to move up, and they are going to be able to go. Minimum is 4, so they're going to be going 4. But that's going to be half, so 2. So they don't actually make it to this next town. Okay. And based off of that inability to catch up with them, again, I'll throw that back to you guys. Do you want this northern group to attempt to march across, or are we just going to leave it at that? And then we will call it with that final decision and move over to the anti-Romans. I'm sure that's kind of some sort of name for them, because I keep calling them Britons, but everyone apart from the Romans are Britons, so it's kind of confusing. Yeah, I guess it's just Romans, and we all know what we're talking about. Sorry, as usual, have a bunch of emergencies happening. No worries. Just, yeah, do what you can do. If you've got to go to work, unfortunately, you've got to do that. If it's something else, hopefully it's not too, sort of like too much of a catastrophe, but just take care of yourself. Cool. All right. In that case, we're going to say that the orders were given for this tribe from down here to come north, and they are going to stay where they are. As for the Briton forces, so Caradicus, his orders were to try and draw the Romans in. So that's basically, I think, what he's doing. So I would say on balance, he's going to stay there. And Luke, chime in if you wish, but probably based off of the orders, he's trying to withdraw. So he's just going to sort of try and get out of the battle as quickly as he can, inflict a few casualties, but try and get out of there as much as he can do and just withdraw back. There'll probably have to be a second, actually, no, not with the weather. That's the maximum for the Romans. So that's probably, there'll be a battle. And if they're able to withdraw, they'll escape. But chime in if you want anything else. As for these guys, these tribes over here, Eastern forces were to march on the Archabates. So that's kind of straightforward. So we will roll to see how far they can go. Obviously, we've got our raiding force as well. So are they going to sort of stick around and try and relink up with their main force, or are they going to keep raiding through and try and cause disruption? I'd say they're a raiding force, so causing disruption is probably the best thing, but I'll leave that one for you. And I'll just roll for the movement on the chaps up there. So we'll start front left. They can move 2. So they basically literally just cross in their canoes. Next one is going to be front right. They're going to go 4, which is going to drop to 2. So they're basically going to get to there. And that's this 7. So they're not crossing over into the Dubuni. They are just coming across on boats because they don't want to antagonize and potentially start a war with them at this stage. Okay, back left. 1. Okay, they don't get very far at all. And back right. 5. Cool. And I just realized I'm supposed to be rolling a d10. So reset. Got to be fair for everyone. Okay, so front left, 8, which drops down to 4, and then it'll actually go to a 2 because they're crossing in canoes, so they just cross. Next one, front right, says 2, so that's basically exactly the same. They don't even get to the crossing. Back left does 2, so that's basically the same. They just get to there. And back right says 1. Okay, so yeah, it was actually exactly the same, but got to be fair to everyone. Give them the chance. Luke, what do you put? Continue with the plan to raid and disrupt. Yeah, okay, that sounds good. So let's see how far they can get today. 5, so it's going to be a 2.5. So do you reckon go down south or just split straight through the middle and try and draw them off? It's not a big move. So maybe go down would be the way and try and split the enemy forces. So that gets them to there. So no combat there, but maybe they can get down and start plundering some villages next turn. Okay. So interesting. So we're going to have one good-sized battle up here, because that's most of the Catabalani forces. They've obviously got a few garrisons in their other towns, but as far as the field armies are concerned, that's all of it, versus half of the Romans. So that'll be a pretty good one. Split the forces. Yep, sounds good. Go on, let's write this down. We've got the battle. I don't know what we're going to call it. So if anyone in the comments wants to give this battle a name, let me know. Trying to think what town or anything is close by to that. It's further. I mean, Cambridge is somewhere up there, so it's not the Battle of Cambridge. Not that Cambridge is even a thing at the moment, but yeah, let me know if you can think of any landmark or anything that is actually in that area we want to call our battle, but we'll just call it battle for now. Battle of, and that's going to be Romans versus Catabalani. And yeah, it's going to be 2 legions versus full field army. And then from you commanders, just regarding this battle, are there any specific orders you would want to give to your troops regarding withdrawing, attacking, trying to send half your force as a flanking force, that sort of thing? Ambushes, let me know now. That way we can try and implement that during the actual tabletop game itself. But yeah, following on from the overall polling, I would say on balance, my interpretation of that is that the Catabalani do want to withdraw, but it's kind of like a inflict as much damage as you can and then get out of there rather than just run away straight away. Then I guess they want to try and draw the Romans in, so they don't want to just flee completely. They do need to kind of keep them as close as possible, but then hopefully not get caught necessarily every single turn in a battle. So cool. Otherwise, I would just go orders. Romans aim to destroy. To destroy enemy forces. And it should also be noted that Caraticus, who was kind of the chief orchestrator of it wasn't really a rebellion, but the hostilities against the counter-Roman forces. Anyway, he was the brother to the king of the Catabalani. So you've actually got him and his brother, who was Trogoduma, something along those lines anyway. So they're both kind of leading a wing of their forces. So you've got 2 pretty good leaders for the Britons against 2 reasonable leaders for the Romans. So they're pretty equally balanced. But yeah, for the Romans, aim, destroy the enemy forces, capture their leaders. And Britons, inflict casualties and draw and withdraw. I think is probably the order of the day. Cool. But I think overall, that's more or less it for this turn. Yeah, got a bit of movement. These troops are trying to come down, but obviously the heavy rain has just really blunted their movements. We've got the Archon-Beatties, haven't really done much. Tried to intercept, failed. So actually this is quite a good raiding force. They're doing their job nicely. We've got the new Roman legion arrived and trying to make its way up. We've got Vespasian keeping a firm grip on his allies to make sure that they don't falter, whilst two whole legions are marching north to try and take on and capture the Cativalani forces or destroy them. So exciting turn ahead. But yeah, I think that pretty well brings us to the end of this week's video. Hope you've all found it interesting. And as I said, voting wise, once we've fought the battle and everything, I will have it on YouTube again, as well as the Discord. So you have everything that you want on the Discord. I would also give some little snippets like the intelligence that these guys are gathering and whatnot. So there's a bit more in there. Check the map in detail on Discord. Romans for me for sure. Cool. Awesome. Good to hear. But yeah, I hope that everything goes well for you, Blood Gang, and there's no more emergencies. Luke, I hope you have a good weekend. It was good fun. Gary, thanks for joining in today and for commenting. And I hope you have a good weekend. I'm not sure where you're from, but whether you're in Britain, America, or anywhere else, take it easy. And for all you other guys out there who haven't commented, thanks for watching. And I'll hopefully see you next week. But yeah, have a good time, guys. Thanks a lot, and see you soon.